Hello, folks. It's me, Tommy, NC 2010. I wanted to share a thought with you. And you ask, why is your video titled Death? I was having some deep thoughts, and it's about death. It's about the reality that we live our lives to the fullest, and there's a ticking clock, inevitable ticking clock called death. And it's there ticking away at your near soul, ticking away at your family, ticking away at everything. And at one point, you won't cease to be. You will cease to live. You will cease to be on this earth. And it's kind of a scary thought when you get to thinking about death. And when you face death, do you find yourself lost in the sorrows of finding yourself depressed? And a lot of times that's what death does, is it depresses you. It makes you think evil thoughts. It makes you feel like your soul is falling apart. It makes you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't know how to feel. Oh my gosh, I just don't know what to do. And for younger people out there, you have nothing to worry about because your life has a ticking clock. That ticking clock has a long way to go. But at one point, that clock may stop and you may cease to be. Now, for Christians, we believe when our souls leave our body, we go to heaven. We're with our families. And I'm not demeaning anybody that doesn't believe in Jesus Christ as their Savior. This is not a message about Christianity. This is a message about... I didn't know what this video was going to be exactly. I wanted to talk about the subject of death and the reality of death. And that the factor is that one day all of us are going to die. That all of us, I'm going to seem to be. I'm not going to be here. My heart will stop. I will lay in the ground somewhere and somebody will stand over my grave and say, oh, there's Tommy. What a good guy. I want to tell you an interesting fact. I don't know if you've ever been at a hospital or been home with your relatives when one of your relatives were very sick and they were on their deathbed and they passed on. I don't know if you've ever watched somebody leave their body to pass on. I have never seen that. I have, on the multiple occasions that death was near me, I excused myself out of the room and I left because I was scared. My grandmother fought years and years of cancer, and she was a wonderful woman. She was a wonderful grandmother. I called her Mima. And the day that she passed away, my grandfather sat on her side with all my family surrounded her. One person was not in that room. That was me. I don't know why I'm talking about death, but I'm not suicidal and I'm okay, so don't worry about me. I'm just talking about the thought of death, the idea of this ticking clock, this ideal of the ticking clock of life that ticks away on us, and that when we reach that certain point, we're lowered in the ground. We're worm food. Then apparently the wheels on the bus go round and round, and it starts over again with somebody else, and that clock starts over again. Isn't it insane how it is? How the wheels of for it to appear, how things happen, and how we see things as for what we see it. We talk about relevancy like it's more important than the human soul. Well, I guess when you're dead, you're not relevant. Well, it's all about how you treat people in life. It's how you live yourself. Will you be known as a jerk? Or will you be known as a man that was a very sweet man? Some people may say that I was a prick, or some people may say that I was a nice guy at times. Tommy was picky. Tommy would do certain things that we thought was weird. I've always thought, whenever I die, what would be the conversation at my funeral? And it's hard to say. There's a lot of breakdowns at funerals where people are talking, and I've kind of been to some funerals, but deep into that funeral, there'll be somebody like, geez, he should have took better care of himself, or I told him so, and some people even distance from that person will say he deserved it. He deserved to die. And in this life we live, death is there, always watching, waiting for that moment to strike. And I'm not talking about Final Destination where death is targeting people. I'm talking about you can get into a car, you can get into a plane, you can just eat a sandwich and then something happens to you. It's how you live your life. It's how you move with that way. And sometimes when a relative has passed away, a lot of people cry. And it's natural for people to cry over their loved ones because that person that they once loved is not there anymore. A husband and wife will sit for years and years at a TV screen, or they'll sit somewhere just sitting on their porch, and then one day that person drops dead. And that person gets up every single day and goes to sit down and looks across, and his wife is gone, or the husband is gone. And it's this circle of life. We're born, we succeed, we die. And it's an unstoppable force. It's an unstoppable force that someday we will cease to be, and that one day that our eyes will not open, that our heart will stop beating. And I'm not trying to be depressing here, but I'm just talking about the levels of how strange it is on how things work, how things are connected, and how people say things and how people do things, and that we're all in this gigantic whirlwind of life. And when that whirlwind of life comes and we drop like an atom bomb and everything explodes all at once and we all disappear all at once, what will be that last moment? Who will be that last person that's still there? What will be that last word that you say before you close your eyes? I don't know what I would say. I don't know if I'd be in an enormous amount of pain or if I would just be... It's strange because at the last moment when your body shuts down and that you have that loss of coldness in your body, and you know that, oh my gosh, I'm going, I'm ceasing to be, this is my last moments, I better make it great. The thing is that at least you know that you tried. That in that moment, that ticking time clock, you tried to do your best, but that ticking time clock exploded and you left this world, leaving everybody behind. Will you be leaving anguish? Will you be leaving hatred? What will you be leaving? But the fact is that all of us as human beings have an inner clock that is ticking. Your loved ones have everybody has an inner clock that is ticking away. And then one day they won't be there. Maybe they'll get a call and they say, the doctor says it's stage 2 cancer. And you just look at each other and you suck it up and you say, okay, we're going to fight this. You fight it all the way through. And then you sit there and you hold your loved one's hand and you bawling your eyes out. And you're just like, not why me? Why me? We had what we could get. We had what we took. We enjoyed every moment. Everybody has those moments. There has been probably wives and husbands and parents that have lost their children, our family, our parents, that said, why? Why are they leaving us now? And sometimes in religion, Christianity, God calls you home. It's just your time. God calls you home. That's what I believe. Someday when I die, God's going to call me home. You know, I don't know why I wanted to do this broadcast. I think it's just I wanted to talk about something that was deep down inside of the subject of death. And I don't know why. Because oftenly death is a big subject at a dinner table about how people discuss their death. And they say, well, I want this done, and I want this done. I want this planned. I want to exactly place this here and there, and I want to make sure that when I die, my family doesn't have to pay for me. I want to put money away, just save, so when they put me in the ground, no one has to worry. All they have to do is just pick my coffin up with my body in it and then lower it into the ground as it ceased to be. There he stands, blank, Bob, Jack, anybody. And sometimes when I go to cemeteries, I look down at these tombstones and I look, what was this person's life like at their last moment? What was their last moments like before they left this world? What was their last moments? Was it suffering? Was it natural? What was it like? And it questions you about how life is and how life goes. And the thing is, I guess when I come to the end of this broadcast, death is there, always there, and it's ticking away. But the fact is, when that clock is ticking, we just have to enjoy it. Even though we have things that our job, kids, many things, debt, we always have to live, because after we're gone, all that's going to cease to matter, because death yanked you and it took you. But the fact is that you just have to be strong. You just have to live your life and not notice that the fact that death is there staring at you, watching your every move, hearing that clock tick, tick, tick. And that we always have to be strong, that we have to rise above that death is there and know that the future isn't there and that there is that light at the end of the tunnel. And when your soul leaves your body at that last moment, will you turn back? because there's nothing for you to go back to. Your body is completely shut down. Your body is completely shut down. And it's just time for you to leave, to go that great beyond, which to me is heaven, honestly. That's just my opinion about death. I have been baptized, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior, and I believe when I die, I will go to heaven and meet my relatives and my love, all my relatives that I have lost. I thought that I would never see both of my grandparents pass away, and it was shocking to watch both of them pass away. I was not there for my grandfather's death. My grandfather was, I'm not going to get into the details about what pushed him, what had it so where he was away from us. But I'm just going to say that he had left us at one point here in North Carolina, went back to Florida where he lived. And he actually checked himself into a hospital, of old folks' home, and he was very sick, and all I'm gonna say is nursing staffs at old folks' homes suck, because you know what he did the last moments of his life? I'll tell you what he did. He choked on his own vomit and died. Yeah, that's what I found out. And I was like, how do they not check on elderly people? They're human beings too. It always hurt me that I was never there for him at his last moments. And now I only have pictures of him and memories. And just recently, I lost my friend, Scotty. He was my good friend. And it's hard for me because I wasn't always there for him. And when I think of those moments, I could have been there for him. I could have done something for him. I could have hung out with him. It hurts me every single day. And that's why I cherish all my friends. I cherish every person I hang out with. I cherish every person I have a conversation on the phone. Because one day they may not be there. So folks, I say this. Cherish everybody in your life that you hang out with, that you do stuff with. Because one day they're not going to be there. Because it's a slippery slope. And you have to just keep moving. And you have to keep living life. You can't always look over your shoulder and see death. You have to keep looking forward. And eventually death will be there. But the fact is that you just have to live life. And my friend Scotty did that every single day. He lived life to the fullest. He did what he could. And I'll tell you something interesting. I saw Scotty a few times. I saw him one time in Ingalls. And one time, before I got my hair cut, I don't know if I came back from Playlist, but I went into his barber shop. That's where he worked. He was my barber and best friend. I went in and Scotty wasn't there. And I asked his father and his brother, "Where's Scotty?" Scotty has some problems he has to take care of. I didn't know if that would be the last moment I would ever just sit there and look at Scotty's section at this barber shop where he would sit and say, am I going to be able to get my hair cut by Scotty? And sadly, he passed away. I'm not going to say why or how. He just passed away. And one of his friends, I think one of his relatives, found him. And I was told by a friend that he had passed on. And it was hard for me because Scotty was the person that kind of also pushed me into wearing dress hats, fedoras. My Humberg is one of the items that he gave me. My wingtips are one of the items that he gave me. I have a pin, a light up pin. And Scotty, he did drink. I took that, my cousin sent me a pin. And I cherished that. So what I did was I placed it inside of the liquor bottle and I sealed it up and I put it in the top part of my cabinet to remember him by. Not the liquor, but for the pen that he gave me to cherish his memory. And I think I need to go. I think I need to just chill down a little bit because I just made myself emotional. And I just wanted to talk about the subject here on this channel. So, thank you so much for everybody listening. I'm Tommy at C2010. Remember to live life to the fullest. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And as always, I'm Tommy at C2010, and I'm keeping you on the inside fact. Subscribe, support, stay positive. Thank you to everybody that sends loving messages to me, and I really do appreciate it. It means a lot. And I just want to say that when people send such loving messages, it makes me tear up because it just makes me feel like you guys are there for me, that you guys are my family of fans, and I want to have a fan meetup to see all of you. I want to be able to shake your hands, all of you. I want to meet all the Tommy heads. Honestly, I want to have that moment. I tried to have that moment. And I'm going to be honest with you, I failed at it. And I was happy, I was lucky just to get to meet one fan that day. It made me so happy. But I want that one moment where I'm surrounded by my fans, the people that I have affected and I have changed their life. And to hear that message, I want to say to all my fans and all my friends, I love you with all my heart. Thank you so much. Have a good night and stay positive.